Alright, let's have a chit chat about buffed Phoenix, or as I'd like to call her, Phoenix that didn't change a ton but got one new very important matchup, because that's honestly how I feel about this champion. Since this buffed version of Phoenix retained all of her core mechanics such as power gain, incinerate, regen, and armor break, and pretty much just like added one thing on top of it, which is having a heavy attack stun counter, which now makes her a hard counter to Arnin Zola. So yeah, the Phoenix buff is, I think it did its job. It made a character that was irrelevant and it made her relevant. So that is exactly what these buffs should do, and it did just that, because her gameplay loop is a lot smoother now. It actually has a purpose and it's not just for fun, and yeah, the result is pretty dang awesome. The Phoenix buff did also like completely revamp her damage form. She used to be a very hard-hitting heavy attack character, but now she is in fact an incinerate DPS and an incinerate burst DPS. And that's honestly like has its pros and cons obviously, but I think this new Phoenix is really fun to play, and as you can see in this video, she is an absolute hard counter to Arnin Zola. Now why is that? Well, it's because her form of damage output bypasses Arnin's like everything, and additionally her heavy attack stun makes it really easy for her to manage his charges. So those two things combined, and yeah, this woman is perfect for Arnin Zola. She also does regen the chip damage with her new regeneration. So yeah, all in all, she is probably like one of the best, if not like the best Arnin Zola counter besides like Angela and Ironheart. But yeah, that was very straightforward. That was very incredible. And now we can like talk about like what this champion does, because I haven't really gone over that yet. So she's very complicated in my opinion. Like, maybe she's not and I'm just like overreacting, but she does feel a bit like odd to play. So what you want to do is you want to build your Phoenix force charges by either just like doing regular basic hits or using the parry mastery without triggering a stun. So like non-contact hits such as Shuri's, like, you know, all of her attacks, that does make her like it does make it a lot more easier for her to ramp up. And like, as you can see, the result of that is whenever we charge a heavy attack, we charge more incinerates up, and once we hit the cap of 12 incinerates, we do bonus burst damage, and that's the majority of Phoenix's damage output. And like right there, fight done, just like that. Now while you're also doing that, you want to ramp up your Furies by dropping your SP1. As you drop your SP1, you get special echo mechanics, and those like give you power gain on the SP1. It gives you the cosmic flame aura, which is like her incinerates, on the SP2, and like things go very crazy once she's ramped up. It is a very, very funny sight to behold. But yeah, she also has a pretty like new mechanic where her stun is fixed. Now what that means is it cannot be modified. Like, it is going to always have that duration, and I'm pretty sure it can't fail whatsoever as well. So like Red Skull can't counter it, Shocker can't reduce the stun duration of her heavy attack charge. So that is a very good mechanic, and I do want to see more of it because it's honestly pretty interesting, and it's very, very helpful versus like, you know, the likes of Shocker and like Red Skull. So pretty dang cool, and the damage output is pretty solid. It's a bit weird. It's one of those cases where like the damage output doesn't feel like it's super strong, but her fight times are like perfectly okay. Kind of like Lady Deathstrike. It's like, yeah, where are the numbers? But then you realize, oh, that's a lot of red numbers that like adds up, but it doesn't look super powerful on paper. But once you rewatch the footage, it's like, yo, these incinerates and these like incinerate burst numbers are pretty nice. So she's one of those characters for sure. But yeah, as you can see here, I am charging up the heavy attack, dropping the heavy attack, and every time I charge it, I trigger the cosmic flame aura, which gives me my incinerate burst, and that's how you do your damage output for the most part. So like right here, charge the heavy attack, do it, and then I cancel the heavy attack by dropping the SP1 in between, and that also gives you like it gives you more tempo for sure. Then I drop the SP2, and there is my Cosmic Flame aura up for like a pretty good amount of time. Now every time I am just around him and like doing a hit, I do trigger like the Incinerate burst damage, and that's how you end the fight. And you do it in style, man. It's a very, very awesome rotation, and it does like have a pretty nice payoff. Now here is this like 1 million health Shuri, or no, it's like, I mean, it's a pretty high health pool for sure. It's a pretty beefy Shuri, and yeah, Phoenix, I don't know, man. She's a bit interesting. Like, she doesn't really have an ideal health pool, because her rotation, it's just like very easy to replicate, and like once you run out of your Cosmic Flame aura, you just drop the SP2 again and you're right back at it, because the way she works is once you drop enough SP1s, you can't really drop them anymore because of her special echo. Now, like I said before, the special echo, that gives you bonus effects like based on what special attack you use, and it like duplicates the effect. So like, let's say you drop the SP1 and you drop it while you have 3 special echoes. That is 3 very, very big power gains that are about to happen to you. And so for that reason, you just cannot drop it because you will gain too much power. And once you're at the SP3, it's like, okay, you messed up big time, because her SP3 takes away everything essentially. But yeah, like once we have the Flame aura up though, we are doing a lot of damage. It is very, very fun, and yeah, the reset is very easy because you just go in, you drop your heavy attack, you cancel it into the SP2. I now have all those flame charges, and I have all those Phoenix Force charges, and now she is once again melting. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting playstyle. I do prefer the simplicity of the older Phoenix, but then again, older Phoenix's issue is that she required a full synergy team, and I'm going to be completely honest, I think that old Phoenix was a good character damage-wise, but this Phoenix obviously does a bit more utility-wise. I wouldn't say she does a lot more, because she really just got that like heavy attack stun charge and like that bonus versus non-contact to make her good versus like Zola and Shuri, but like besides that, they have the exact same matchup spread, or like very close to the same matchup spread. So yeah, Phoenix, like I said, the buff did its job. It was meant to make her a bit more relevant, and it did just that by making her a hard counter to one of the new meta defenders, right? Like old Phoenix, she wasn't relevant because she like didn't really counter any defender. And while the buffed Phoenix doesn't necessarily counter a ton of meta defenders, like she is not good versus Photon, Bullseye, you know, Onslaught, Serpent, like all those meta champions, she just will not ever see the light of day against. But against Arnin Zola, she will definitely be a top contender for like whenever he shows up. I think, here's the thing, I think that she can kind of be pretty easy to stop with like a Battlegrounds node, but we really haven't seen how easy it is to stop her, so I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she is going to be pretty good like for Arnin Zola in like 90% of scenarios. Now here's some act fights, just some very simple stuff, like this note that requires debuff, she is of course very good for, because you charge the heavy attack and the requirements are met. So there you go, very, very simple stuff. There I dropped the heavy attack again into the striker, and yeah, very, very like a very smooth rotation. I think that's pretty important to note here, that like she feels a lot, actually no, I wouldn't say a lot smoother to play, because like old Phoenix was a very smooth champion. Like she was a very, very fun champion to use, and like this Phoenix is just as fun for sure. But yeah, here I go for the heavy attack charge, a lot of damage right there, drop the SP2 again because why not, and yeah, just absolutely melts right there. Very, very good fight time. Now I have this other cosmic node, we have this Gambit here. Pretty sure you just want to have like aptitudes and you do your damage, so should be pretty easy to get that with the Thor relic and the node interaction. So yeah, she does like other cosmic tropes kind of well. She has armor break, which is pretty cool. She has access to Fury, which is the most important cosmic buff. But besides that, like that's not like, that's not a ton. You know, that's like a very vintage cosmic utility kit in my opinion, because you know, all the old cosmics have armor break and fury. Just look at like OG Thor, for example. That's his exact same utility kit. So yeah, like sometimes it's like, okay, maybe she should get a bit more because this is a 2025 character now technically, but yeah, not like really all there with like modern cosmic utility. But then again, that non-contact like benefit and that heavy attack stun chain is very, very modern. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And so is that damage output. So that was very, very nice to watch. And now we have this very crazy matchup, dude. And this is where it starts to get a bit crazy when it comes to potential, because with this node, whenever you inflict a DOT, you inflict an armor break as well. Now, I don't know if Incursions took away that one like buff where like it's the exact same thing as this node, but like I think she's always had potential in Incursions, but with this new buff and like her damage output switching to Incinerate mainly, I think there's a ton of potential there, because like she still has a lot of buffs, but her debuffs now make a lot more noise, and I feel like that could be pretty massive in a game mode like Incursions, where you can use like, you know, buff cornucopia or like any DOT modifier that really does like supercharge Phoenix's damage output. So I think that's one place I would really keep watch when it comes to this character. Otherwise, I could see her being used in like Battlegrounds somewhat often. In Alliance War, I don't think I'm gonna see like this character used once in Alliance War, because I think that other characters can do fights a bit safer than her. Like for example, Arnin Zola. I don't know if I'd use this champion against like a boss Arnin Zola, because, you know, he's stun immune, and yeah, that's just like not really good for Phoenix. Additionally, like stunning reflection, I think you have to stun them to get the incinerate up in the first place. So yeah, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered with Phoenix, where it's like, okay, how exactly is she gonna like make an impact on like the Alliance War map? Which, I mean, I'm saying Alliance War stuff, but then again, that's like going away for like a whole month and a half, so I maybe shouldn't talk about that. But like in Battlegrounds, am I just gonna have her just for Arnin Zola, or can she do a bit more outside of Arnin Zola? And like, does she bring any defensive value whatsoever to make her like even slightly more worth it? We don't know just yet, but from what I've seen so far, she's pretty cool. Like, she maintains the core mechanics of the old Phoenix, but just interprets them in a bit more like in like a modern way, I guess, because, you know, she also has like the Arnin Zola counter on top of that. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting buff. I wouldn't say it's like top tier. It's not Juggernaut level, it's not like anywhere near that, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. For like a free champion that you're gonna get eventually, could be a whole lot worse, right? So let me know your thoughts on buffed Phoenix, and yeah, that's about it for me.